Hello and welcome back to the Spellcorp Industrial Complex, where last time we got this beautiful combine harvester completed and we got this wonderful golden field of wheat ahead of us that I had to break and replace just because I messed it up with a bunch of water and I accidentally broke the combine and I started breaking a lot of the plots and stuff and I got annoyed, so I broke all the wheat and replaced it. But we have it all back now and it's growing in. So what are we doing today at the Spellcorp Industrial Complex? Well, glad you asked. Last time we spent a lot of time on this combine getting this nice farm area set up, and today we are not going to do any of that. No, that's right. Even though I focus so heavily on getting food set up, I've realized something. I put a poll out on the community tab of this YouTube channel here, and 50% of you out of 10 votes. Not many votes, by the way. Interact with those, please. They help. 50% of you want to see more tech stuff, and to do more tech stuff, we unfortunately come into a bit of a bottleneck. Right now, our only source of power is these mechanism wind generators, and these are pretty good. They generate a good amount of power. To be honest, they're probably all I actually need right now, but I want to go big. Going big, what is that going to look like? Well, there's a few ways for us to generate a large amount of power in this mod pack, okay? Let's take a look. Here we go, all the power, a couple different power mods. We got basic power, sure, and it recommends some mechanism things and gas burning generators and whatnot, but what I really want is I want bigger reactors. You see, this is what calls me. This is what draws me in. You see these big multi-blocks? I love them. I love them. Back in the day when whatever mod, Big Reactors, the original version of Big Reactors, I think it was, when that was out, I just loved making a big system and then feeding it into a turbine and generating a ton of power, like millions of RF. It was crazy. It was awesome. And I want to get back to that, and this is the perfect time. You know, nothing like reliving a little bit of nostalgia for the olden days. So we're going to hop into some bigger reactors today, and we do need a place to kind of put this stuff. Like, I'm realizing right now I still have a lack of kind of places to put things. We have our create labs, which is obviously for some create things. We have this warehouse, which at the moment we have some mechanism stuff in and a bunch of our botany pots and stuff, but I want to, this is going to be repurposed at some point. I don't really want that stuff in it, but I don't know what I want to put in it yet. And warehouse here we obviously have for storage, but I kind of like the idea of each building having an independent purpose because it makes the world feel more lively, kind of. So I want a building for the mechanism stuff. I want a building for the botany stuff. And I mean, as we progress a little further in this mod pack, I also would like to stray away from the botany pot and the mystical agriculture crops, just because I don't really like them. I feel they're a little bit cheaty. I think there's more fun ways of getting materials in the game. So we'll look at some of that eventually. But for now, like early game, mid game, whatever we're kind of in, I feel like they're okay. I've just been using them to generate resources to build things, basically. So it's whatever. Tangent aside, we're going to need places for things. And I want to build maybe a big power plant substation thing in this area. So we'll look at that eventually. I'm thinking, lately I've been struggling with some buildings. I want to come up with more designs for them, but I don't want to build it in the world until I can come up with something that I actually like the design of. Like these two buildings I like the design of, this warehouse I like the design of, and they just took a little bit of time to come up with, and I haven't had as much brain power lately, but I'll come up with something for a nice power plant. But we'll be looking at filling that in here, so it's kind of nice to the water in case we ever need to pump out huge amounts of water from the ocean to cool our power plant. But it'll be good. We'll have lots of power, and then we'll be able to power everything in the Spellcorp Industrial Complex. Fantastic. Let's get started. Where does this all start? Welcome to Bigger Reactors. Based off the original mod, Big Reactors, this mod aims to provide fun and engaging power systems by making customizable multi-block reactors. The main element is, of course, uranium, the same thing as yellowite. You'll need this and a lot of coal and iron to get started building. Okay, so I have uranium. I grabbed some of that. We have like 24, which is not much, to be honest. So we might have to go mining today. Next up is graphite. Graphite ingots. Before we can start building, we'll need some graphite, which is just coal that gets smelted. Well. Lucky for us, we have this cute little automated system here that we can actually make. Let's take a look. So if I take coal and then graphite, we just start automating this immediately and then put it in here. Is this gonna work? Graphite, craft. How much do I have? 100. I have 9 coal. Well, Okay, we're gonna have to get more coal. No crafting CPUs are available? Okay, well, oh yeah, I've been crafting processors because I'm gonna wanna make more drives so that we can scale this up. And to the point of having buildings for individual things, I also want like a big data center for all of our ME stuff, which would be really cool. So lots of things planned. Hope on the horizon for this series. I got lots I want to do, and not enough time to do it all. Graphite's cooking up. Sweet. We'll get some of this. I'm gonna have to go get more coal. It says we need lots of graphite, but I don't really know how much lots is, so we're gonna make lots. See, even with our mystical agriculture setup, we're not getting tons of this stuff. And it feels cheaty, but like I said, I'm okay doing it for now. There we go. That should be lots of graphite. Let's just make all that into it. Okay, we have lots of graphite on the go. 500 ingots are coming out here, so I guess I'm just going to have to wait. I guess, too, we can speed this up if we just upgrade this smelter into a smelting factory, so maybe we'll do that. Can I cancel you for now? Take all this junk out and upgrade this. What does it take? Do I have the stuff to upgrade it? We certainly do. A basic smelting factory. What about the next one? Maybe. An advanced smelting factory. Now, see, this is where we're going to run into power issues because this might be too expensive for me to run, but we'll mess with it. We'll give it a try. Everything's set up, output and input. Awesome. Now let's cook more graphite. Graphite. 500 of it. Start. Let's see. How much power is this taking? Using 100 FE per tick. That might be way too much. What are these even generating? Not that much. Uh-oh. Producing 33. Oh, wait. We might be able to keep up. There's enough here for about 150. This thing's taking 27 AE per tick. I don't know what the conversion is. It might not be enough. Yeah, I don't think it's enough because these AE ones are a 1 to 2 conversion for FE to AE. So this is taking like, what, 50 something? So we're probably just barely draining power. Just a little bit. Okay, we need like one more windmill to keep up with it. Oh, no. What are we missing? We're missing one infused alloy? No, we have it. Oh, there we go. Okay, gotta plug this in before we run out of power, and we're good. We're back online. We should be generating enough now. Allegedly. Okay, well, this will get sorted later. We'll deal with it for now. Look at all that coal go. Getting way more graphite now. 60 already. Okay, sweet. Now, what's our next step? Graphite, we only need 16. Boom. We got a beehive. Interesting. Reactor building components. To build a reactor, you'll need to start by making reactor casings. These make up the frame and walls of your reactor, although the walls can be replaced by reactor glass if you'd like to see the inside of your reactor. It wants me to make 4 reactor casings and a reactor glass. Okay, reactor. Let's just go at big reactors. Here we go. Reactor casing, 4 of that. That's dirt cheap. Reactor glass. Did I just say 1? Boom. Perfect. Reactor control components. Several optional blocks you can use. A redstone port allows you to control it with redstone. The computer port allows for control of the reactor using Lua scripts from mods like Computercraft. Ooh. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen people build like monitoring systems using Computercraft to show how much power it's making and their whole power grid, and to like have buttons on the screen to toggle the reactor. That could be really fun if we had like if at our power plant we have like a control system. Okay, that'll be something to look into. I can do some research on that, maybe try to figure something out, because that sounds really cool. To extract power or items from your reactor or even input fuel, you'll need these required items. The reactor power tap provides a way for you to tap into the power that a passive reactor makes. A passive reactor. You can attach pipes and cables to extract the power from it. The access ports are required for every reactor and allows you to both input fuel from the reactor or extract waste. While it only requires 1, it's usually a good idea to have 2 per reactor. If the inventory can push and pull, i.e. a hopper, cyanite will be pushed into the inventory as an input. So that's just how we can input fuel and things automatically if we wanted to. Good, good, good. And I guess I have to make those. And it says it recommends 2 access ports, right? So we'll make 2 of those maybe. And we can't make 2 of them because we're short a piston. There we go. Power tap and access port. What else are we going to need here? Reactor terminal. Oh, okay. The big one here. The terminal is the heart of the reactor. When a reactor is formed, you can right-click the terminal to open up the reactor interface. Depending on if it is a passive or an active reactor, the interface will change. Passive reactors are used to produce power directly by burning fuel. Active reactors burn fuel to create heat to power turbines for power generation. That is what I want. I don't know if we can reach that today, but that sounds really cool. I want turbines. I like it. In the interface of a passive reactor, you can see and toggle the status and waste ejection. You'll also see the temps, how much RF per tick the reactor is producing, and how much fuel the reactor is burning per tick. Okay, all of the info that we could possibly need. It wants me to make a terminal. We can afford that. We have that. And then we also just need these control rods. Every reactor needs reactor control rods and fuel rods. These control how fuel is inserted into the reactor. Placed on the top, you can have more than one, but you must have at least one. Typically, the more you have, the more fuel it can use and burn. That means more overall power, but at the cost of higher burn rates depending on the setup of the reactor. For every control rod, you'll need enough fuel rods to extend to the base of the reactor. Yeah. If you right-click on a control rod, you can control how much fuel is burned in the reactor by inserting or retracting the fuel rods. Okay, cool. So you can adjust some stuff with it. So we'll make that as well, and it's going to teach me the basics after this. So we'll finish with a control rod, a fuel rod, and a control rod. Perfect. Look at that. We are ready to build a reactor. Here we go, our first passive reactor. We're going to build the smallest size passive reactor available. You know what? We'll follow along. We'll mess with this to see how much power it should make and stuff. The 3x3. The requirement for the quest are the exact amounts for what you'll need to build one. To build this, you start by building a 3x3 frame. Yada, yada, yada. I can figure this out. I got this. I'm a genius. It wants me to have more of this, though. Do I have everything? We have all the stuff for it. Okay. We'll just build it right in here. We'll build it right in here. Why not? There is no harm in building a nuclear reactor in our warehouse. Nuclear? Nuclear. How do you... I don't know how to say it. Whatever.
Nuclear.
Okay, but to be safe, we'll put it in the corner of the warehouse here. Okay, so first off, we need our little 3x3 base, and we're going to want a terminal here. And then it said we want our fuel rod in the middle, our control rod on the top, and then we'll put an access port on either side, and a power tap here. And then, oh, but we don't get a window. Okay, well, we'll put windows on our bigger one when we make it. And then we just fill in the rest, right? Boom. And it did something. Oh, we get our window here. Okay. It's doing nothing because it's offline. We turn it online. It still does nothing. It has no fuel, I'm guessing. And we're going to need fuel. But let's just see what it says in here, I guess. So, uranium. Cool. Fueling our passive reactor. Need to pick one of the sides. Pump in uranium from an inventory. Something like storage or even a chest with an item pipe. Okay. Can I not access it just directly? No. You actually have to... I can't just put stuff in here. You actually have to put it in through an inventory. Just grab a drawer. Okay, let's say we want you to be our input. We'll put that there. And uranium there. And it goes... It took 4. Took 4 uranium. We have 4 buckets of fuel, so I guess each ore is 1 bucket of fuel. Status online. Everything goes. Case heat, fuel heat, these are going up. Internal battery, we're generating 2,580-ish RF per tick. 2.6 kilo RF per tick. Look at that. How much is that compared to what we have? Is RF and FE a direct conversion? Yes, RF and FE are a direct conversion. So this is like 2,500 FE as well. So that's a lot. That is certainly more than those are producing, but we're now at the cost of burning uranium. So we have to find a way to get more uranium. We could use botany pots. That's not fun. But it might be what we do for now, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to go look for some uranium and see, or see if there's other ways I can make it that are kind of cool. But we are getting waste here, so we'll have to dump some of this out, and I guess we'll have to pull that out through here. So I need like another input, Maybe we'll just grab another drawer. And then do we have to change this one to output waste? Output waste. Manually eject waste? Manually eject all waste from the reactor. But I'm assuming we'll need one whole bucket before it'll eject it. So anyways, this thing has made a lot of fuel, millions of RF. Okay. And here we can adjust the control rods. I don't want to mess around with that. But hey, that's a pretty good start. That's a huge amount of power that we just generated that fast. We can pump it out through the back. Do a little bit more reading here. Reactors are multi-block, meaning you can create your own custom size. The biggest is 128, 128, 192. A lot of variables that contribute to the overall output. Make sure to experiment. Taller the reactor, the more fuel it can hold and burn because there are more fuel rods, meaning more overall power. This also means a higher burn rate. The wider the reactor, the more efficient it is, as long as you don't add more fuel rods to the design. This means less consumption overall. And I think generally in the past at least, there were designs that made tons and tons of power using the turbines where you'd use a really short but wide reactor, and it would just generate enough heat to keep your turbines going for a long time. So that was really nice. That is something for the future. Dealing with waste just as you want. Whoa, I didn't read that right. Just as you'll need to pump in fuel, burning uranium creates a byproduct of cyanite as a waste. What is cyanite used for? Cyanite we can make turbine rotor shafts. Oh, okay. So we'll actually need this to make the turbine stuff. Cool. And turbine casings. Okay, so we'll need cyanite. So waste is a good thing. And there's lutecrite blocks, plutonium, enderium, blaze rods. Oh my goodness. I think these are used as like a coolant in the turbines or something, or you put them around the shafts to do something. In the past, I think that's what they were. Enderium is diamond, enderdust, lead. A fire charge? Oh man. Okay. Oh wait, you don't need the fire charge. You can just cook enderium dust. Oh boy, I am now overwhelmed. There is so much to automate going forward, but we'll get there eventually. Now that this is full, I guess I can just turn it off for now, right? And this will stay stored in the internal battery, and we don't have to worry about burning more fuel. We got one piece of cyanite. Sweet. How are we gonna get uranium? What's the best way for us? None of these look great. Mechanical squeezer to squeeze ore? Okay, that's strange. Uranium ore. We can craft uranium ore with the dimensional mine shaft from occultism. What? Cartimkil will mine random ores and deep slate ores in the mining dimension. What? What is this? That sounds crazy. Okay, I'm gonna have to read about this. This is wild. What? It's like a genie lamp. So is there a genie that mines ore for me? Interesting. Okay. Well, what if we go through bars? Okay, we could do uranium essence, which is not super interesting. I don't want that. I want to avoid that. Ooh, radioactive comb. Bees? Oh, interesting. We can use radioactive combs, huh? Well. This sounds interesting. And radioactive combs are made by radioactive bees. Oh no. I have to breed a bunch of bees? Oh, this sounds good. I like this. This sounds fun. Creep bee. The creep bee makes a radioactive bee. And you have to breed it with an iron bee. And you need a breeding chamber, which needs an upgrade bobby. Little bobby. Oh, okay. So this is like all those old like chicken mods and stuff, right? The chicken ones where you could breed all the chickens to drop resources. Also a little cheaty, but more interesting if we have to process the hives. Okay, something to think about, certainly. Regardless of how we get uranium, there is something else we'll need to do, and we'll need to be able to connect our reactor all around the Spellcorp Industrial Complex, and the huge problem is it's going to be a big area, right? We're going to have lots of stuff and lots of things needing power all throughout it, so we're going to have to route power around, and we could build like huge power lines that run all the way around, and maybe that's more realistic. Unfortunately, that's not going to be super practical because I think you run into like chunk loading errors and things, and I don't want to have to force load all the chunks. So we're going to look into a different way of doing that, and I think they have, is it XNet in this? Yeah, it does. The Flux Networks Maybe it's not XNet. Is it XNet? I don't know. Flux networks. Anyways, you can use these plugs and points to like wirelessly transmit power around, and you just hook it up to your power grid, and you can create different grids for your power to be able to transport them. And I just feel like it makes the most sense, but these are unfortunately a little expensive to make at the minute. We need flux dust, which is made by this. Left click the obsidian. You put obsidian above redstone at bedrock, and then you click the obsidian and it crushes it into flux dust. Okay, what else are we gonna need? We need flux cores, which are more obsidian, more flux dust, and eye of enders. Well, they're a little bit expensive, but we can play around. Let's grab some obsidian, if I even have any. I don't, of course I don't. Why would I? Okay, let's grab redstone then, and we'll go find obsidian. Is that uranium? Uranium slate ore. It sure is. Okay. I don't have fortune, but we do have silk touch. That doesn't seem to work. Amplify. No. Is it amplify that we need? Amplify and extract? Yes. Let's see. Is this the right uranium? Uranium slate ore. We can turn to uranium ingots. Sweet. And then we can, I think we can 2 times ore process this. If we run it through the enrichment chamber. Purification. Ooh, 3 times. We can 3 times ore process it. Uranium clump, crush. Cool. Okay, that'll be some nice seed uranium for us, and we lost some of it. There's lots of uranium around, actually. I could probably get away with just mining it. Down here at bedrock, we can give this a try. If we throw redstone in, we have the obsidian above. We click it. It falls, and it gets us flux dust. Fantastic. Now the question I have, can I put multiple all at once? Oh, you can. But it turns into cobblestone. Okay, well, that's fine. There we go, lots of flux dust. I should have brought more with me, actually. I should have brought more with me if I'd have known I was going to be able to craft so much so fast. This should be a good start, though. All right, let's see if we can make one of these flux things now. I want a plug or a point. Provides energy to adjacent blocks, receives energy from adjacent blocks. Okay, we need a plug, and that'll connect to our reactor, and then anytime we want to pull power from our network, we need to use a point. So for now, we'll make 1 plug and a couple of the points, I think. We need these flux cores, which need eye of the enders, which need blaze powder, which need blaze rods, which we do have. We'll just use those up. We'll have to get more. But that's fine. Eye of Enders, we have 10. Okay, cool. Cool. Flux cores. We'll make a couple of these. I don't know, like 16 to start. And does that mean I can make the point? No. We need the flux block, which also uses flux cores. And now, flux plug. Okay, cool. But we want our flux point as well. We'll make one of those. We'll make another one of those. They're cheap, comparatively. Make 4 of them, because why not? Okay, there we go. Now, with all of these in tow, we can get some stuff hooked up. Let's see. Flux plug. Let's put this on our power tap. And it has an input. Is it drawing power from here? Not yet. So, we have this complicated looking UI, but I think it's pretty easy to use. Home. Name flux plug. Can I rename it? Yes, you can. Priority 1, transfer limit 800,000. Power surge bypass limit, chunk loading. So we can make these load chunks. Okay, cool. But I want to create a network. Create a new network above. Spell it out's network. We're going to call this the Industrial Complex Main Line. Oh, we can't call it. We'll just call it Industrial Complex Main. Sure. We can encrypt it with a password. I'm not going to tell you guys what the password is. I want purple. No, we'll do orange. We'll do orange because that's our color. We'll do public so that we can just hook it up easily. And now we have a network. So we select the network, right? Boom. And now it knows Industrial Complex Main, but there's no power in the network. Do we need storage on the network? Oh, we can store it on the network if we want. So we can make these storage blocks, which I'm guessing will start to store power. I don't really care about that. I think we can just use our reactor as our storage for the minute. But we can upgrade it down the line. So with that, I think we can then We'll get a little crazy. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off power to our network here because we're going to see if this works. And these should actually just run out at some point, right? I mean, I guess that one won't if it's using stuff, but this one will start to drain. It's going down. And it's going up. There's power stored in the cable. Power will run out eventually. It's fine. Okay, but we can take our flux point. We can plug it in. It's not doing anything yet, but if we select the industrial complex main, output, it's going down. That is going down, but these should fill up with power again, right? And we should actually see that this is starting to drain some power. 7.7. Okay, so it is going down a little bit. Very, very slightly. We're using very little power at the minute, but we are taking it. And we can see this is showing value. It's got a buffer. It's receiving extra. It's receiving power right now. And is this just going to keep kind of wasting power, though? I guess it'll only take as much as... It'll only take as much as our ME controller is using at the minute. Is really all that it's going to be taking, because nothing else is consuming power. Look at that. We now have power hooked up from our reactor into this. And that means we don't need these wind generators anymore. And if we want to apply this same thing, we can take this next flux point, and we can hook it up at the warehouse with a bunch of our machinery. So maybe I want to cut off this basic energy cube just for the moment, and we will instead hook up a flux point to this top line. If I can get up there, we'll hook up our flux point here, and we'll connect it to the industrial complex main. And there we go. This should all now be getting powered by our reactor. Output is moving very fast, 60 FE per tick, 88. Okay, but it is powering it. And I have some uranium cooking up in here because I grabbed a bunch of ore. Now we can go back. Let's check out our reactor and see if it's draining a little bit more power now just because we have more dependency for it. Yes, yeah, it's definitely draining a bit more power now. Looking at the back plug, you can see input is closer to 150, 160 FE per tick, so it is using up more power. But if we start to run low, we can just turn it on again, and it'll just get all of that back really fast. So we're making tons of power. This is a huge improvement to our power. It is unfortunate, though, because we do just need fuel now. But we'll figure that out. I'm thinking those bees could be really fun, actually, because I'm a sucker for those mods where I have to, like, breed a bunch of different creatures. Like the chicken mod, I loved that back in the day, where I had to just breed a ton of different chickens, get them up to, like, level 10, and then crossbreed all of them to get all the different resources, and then they're pumping it all out. I love it. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of addicting. It's not super entertaining to watch, but I do love it. So maybe we'll look into bees. Maybe we'll lay some infrastructure for that to try to get some uranium bees, because I think that's kind of fun. That's kind of a quirky way to get resources here, so that could be interesting to check out. Unfortunately, though, that is going to be all I have time for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad we got this power sorted out. It's been bugging me, so we're going to have a good source of it going forward as long as we can keep up with the uranium, but we're going to look at getting more fuel next time at the Spellcorp Industrial Complex. So thank you for joining me. Love you. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, no.